Alright, so you're heading to Japan, land of the rising sun, insane technology, incredible food, culture that's like 1,000 layers deep. It's genuinely one of the most amazing places on the planet, trust me on this. But here's the thing, you can totally, unintentionally screw it up. It's a place with a lot of unspoken rules, a lot of nuance. This video will help you navigate it like a pro, so buckle up, pay attention, and let's get into it. First things first, and this is a big one, man, probably the foundation for everything else we're gonna talk about, respecting local customs and traditions. Now, that sounds obvious, right? Like, of course I'm gonna be respectful. But here's the kicker. Respect in Japan can look and feel very different from what you're used to. Their culture is ancient, it's intricate, and it's built on principles like harmony, group cohesion, and frankly, a level of politeness that can make other countries look like a free-for-all. It's not just about bowing, though that's part of it. It's deeper. You gotta understand, Japan has this incredible history, thousands of years of it, that has shaped every single aspect of daily life. From how people interact in public spaces to the way they conduct business, even how they queue for a ramen shop. It's all interwoven, and for an outsider, someone dropping in for a week or two, it can be a lot to take in. It's not about judging whether their way is better or worse than yours. It's simply about acknowledging that and that difference deserves your attention and your effort to understand, even just a little bit. Think of it like learning a new language, but instead of words, you're learning actions, gestures, and silences. A slight nod, the way you hand over money, even where you stand on an escalator. These are all part of Japan's unspoken social vocabulary. And if you're just barging through, doing things your usual way, you're essentially shouting in a library. You might not mean to be disruptive, but the impact is the same. It's about being mindful, being observant, and recognizing that you're stepping into a society that places a huge premium on consideration for others. So the first mistake to avoid is assuming that common sense or common courtesy as you know it will be enough. It's a good start for sure, but you need to dial it up and be prepared to adapt. This isn't about being scared to make a mistake. Everyone makes them, even locals sometimes. It's about the willingness to learn, to adjust, and to show that you're making an effort. That humility, will be noticed and appreciated far more than you realize. It's the first step to truly connecting with the place and its people. And that's what travel is all about, right? Alright, let's talk about money, specifically tipping. Now, if you're from the US or a lot of other Western countries, tipping is ingrained, it's automatic. You get service, you leave a tip. Sometimes it's 15%, sometimes 20%, sometimes more if the service was stellar. It's how a lot of service staff make their living, so you go to Japan, you have an amazing meal, the service is impeccable, like next level attentive without being intrusive, and your natural instinct is going to be to leave a tip. Just don't. I cannot stress this enough. This isn't about Japanese people being against good service or not appreciating it, quite the opposite. Exceptional service or omotenashi is a cornerstone of their culture. It's expected, it's part of the job description, and it's delivered with pride. The thing is, staff in Japan are paid a proper wage. They're not relying on tips to make ends meet. The price you see on the menu, or the bill you receive, is the final price. It already includes the cost of that excellent service. Trying to add more on top is just not how it works there. In fact, attempting to leave a tip can cause genuine confusion and awkwardness. The staff might think you've accidentally left your money behind and will often try to chase you down the street to return it. Imagine that scene. You're trying to be generous, and they're interpreting it as you being forgetful, or worse, they might feel a bit insulted. It can imply that you think their employer doesn't pay them enough, or that they need some kind of charity. It's just a cultural misfire, a signal that gets totally lost in translation, and it puts them in an uncomfortable position. So, the big mistake to avoid here is applying your home country's tipping customs in a place where they simply don't exist and aren't wanted. It's one of those things that seems small, but it speaks volumes about understanding the local culture. It's not about being cheap, it's about respecting their system. The service you receive is part of the package deal, something they take immense pride in providing to everyone, regardless of an expected financial bonus at the end. So save your yen, put it towards another bowl of ramen instead. Let's talk about public transportation in Japan. This isn't just about getting from A to B, it's an experience, a masterclass in efficiency, and, you guessed it, etiquette. Japan's train system, especially the Shinkansen, the bullet train, it's legendary for a reason. It's clean, it's punctual to the second, and it carries millions of people every single day with this almost ballet-like precision. But to be part of that ballet, you gotta know the steps. This isn't your hometown subway where anything goes. Here, there's a system, a flow, and respecting that flow is key to not sticking out like a sore thumb, and trust me, you don't want to be tourists. It's about making the journey smooth for everyone, yourself included. So, first things first. Queuing, yeah, lining up. On the train platforms you'll see these markings on the ground, sometimes even little diagrams showing where the train doors will open. People line up here, neatly, patiently. No pushing, no shoving, no mad dash when the train arrives. It's an art form, honestly. You find your line, you stand, you wait. It sounds simple, and it is, but it's a fundamental part of the experience. This organized approach is what keeps things moving so incredibly smoothly, even during peak rush hour when it feels like the entire city is on the move. It's a testament to collective respect, and it's something you'll come to appreciate pretty quickly. Then comes boarding and alighting. This is crucial. When the train doors slide open, it's not a free-for-all. The rule is simple. People getting the train go first, always. Stand to the sides of the doors, let them disembark completely before you even think about stepping on. Don't crowd the entrance, don't try to squeeze in. Once they're clear, then you board again in an orderly fashion. No rushing, no pushing. And once you're on, move away from the doors to make space for others. Don't just stop right inside the doorway, blocking everyone else. It's all about spatial awareness and consideration. Inside the train car itself, this is where the quiet rule really kicks in, but we'll get more into that later. This next one is huge. Being quiet in public places. And I don't just mean libraries or museums, I mean quiet, in a lot of places where you might not expect it if you're coming from, say, New York City. There's a cultural underpinning to this, a deep-seated value for harmony, or he, and consideration for others. It's not about being antisocial, it's about creating a comfortable environment for everyone. Loudness, in many contexts, is seen as disruptive, inconsiderate, even a little aggressive. It's a stark contrast to some Western cultures where being loud and boisterous can be seen as friendly or outgoing. So where is this quietness paramount? Definitely in temples and shrines. These are places of worship and reflection, so obviously you keep your voice down, you move respectfully. Museums, art galleries, libraries, that's a given pretty much anywhere in the world, but in Japan the expectation is perhaps even more pronounced, but it extends beyond that. Inside train cars, as we just talked about, in hospital waiting rooms, even in the queues for popular restaurants or shops, you'll notice a general hush. It's a collective agreement to maintain a certain level of peace and order, and it's surprisingly effective. Even in places that might seem inherently a bit noisy, like department stores or even some restaurants, there's still an underlying expectation of decorum. You won't typically hear staff shouting across the store, or groups of diners being excessively rowdy. There's an ambient level of sound, sure, but it's generally subdued. It's like everyone has an internal volume knob, and in Japan, it's usually turned down a few notches compared to back home. This doesn't mean people aren't having fun or engaging, they're just doing it in a way that respects the shared space. It takes some getting used to, but you'll find it incredibly calming. The contrast can be jarring if you're not prepared. What might be a normal conversational volume for you in a cafe back in your home country could feel like you're shouting in a similar setting in Tokyo. It's not that Japanese people don't talk or laugh, they absolutely do. But there's a time and a place, and in many public settings, the default mode is quiet consideration. Understanding this isn't just about avoiding a faux pas, it's about understanding a fundamental aspect of the culture. It's about tuning into a different frequency of social interaction, one that prioritizes collective comfort. Chopsticks. These aren't just tools for eating in Japan, they're an extension of the hand, imbued with culture, tradition, and a whole lot of etiquette. Using them correctly isn't just about looking like you know what you're doing. It's about showing respect for the food, for your hosts, and for Japanese customs. So, before we even get to how to hold them, let's talk about what to do. There are some major chopstick no-nos, things that can range from being seen as merely impolite to being genuinely offensive. These are the mistakes you really want to avoid. The biggest one, the one that almost everyone will tell you about, is sticking your chopsticks upright in your bowl of rice. This is called tsukitate bashi or tate bashi. Why is it so bad? because it directly resembles the incense sticks that are stood upright in a bowl of sand or ash during Buddhist funeral rites, offered to the deceased. So, doing this at the dinner table is a powerful and unwelcome reminder of death. It's considered very bad luck, and extremely disrespectful. Seriously, don't do this. Ever. If you need to put your chopsticks down, use a chopstick rest or lay them neatly across your bowl. Another funeral-related taboo is passing food from your chopsticks directly to someone else's chopsticks. This is called hiroibashi or utsushibashi. This action mirrors a ritual at Japanese funerals where cremated bones are passed between family members using special chopsticks. So, again, mimicking this at the table is a serious breach of etiquette and has very somber connotations. If you want to pass food to someone, place it on a small plate first, and then they can pick it up with their own chopsticks. It's a simple workaround to avoid a very awkward and disrespectful moment. Then there's spearing your food with your chopsticks, known as sashi bashi. Think of it like stabbing your food with a fork, but with chopsticks it's seen as particularly crude or childlike. Chopsticks are meant to be used to gently pick up food. Spearing it implies you're either struggling, impatient, or just don't have good manners. While it might not carry the heavy cultural weight of the funeral-related taboos, it's still considered poor form and something to avoid if you want to show respect for the dining experience. Let's talk about something basic in communication: pointing. In Japan, pointing can be seen as rude or aggressive. It's a subtle cultural difference that can make you seem impolite. Instead, use an open hand to gesture. It's about being less forceful and more respectful. These small adjustments help you engage with the culture. Okay, this next one is huge. Like, non-negotiable, absolutely fundamental. If you get invited into a Japanese home, there's one golden rule you cannot forget: shoes off. The moment you step across that threshold, your outdoor shoes need to come off. No exceptions, no, "oh, I'll just be a second." This isn't just a polite suggestion, it's a deeply ingrained custom tied to cleanliness and respect. It's crucial to get it right from the get-go. Think of it as rule number one for indoor etiquette. Why the big deal about shoes? It's rooted in hygiene and respect. Japan places a massive emphasis on cleanliness. Outdoor shoes track in dirt and who knows what else. The inside of a home, especially with tatami mats, is meant to be pristine. Walking on tatami with shoes is a major faux pas. It's also tied to Sento beliefs in separating the uchi, inside pure, from the soto, outside impure. Your shoes are symbolic of the outside world, and leaving them at the door is a way of leaving that impurity behind. You'll almost always find a dedicated area for this shoe removal ritual right at the entrance. This space is called the genkan. It's usually a step lower than the main floor of the house. The procedure is pretty standard: step into the genkan, turn around to face the door you just came through, slip off your shoes, and then step up into the main part of the house. Don't just kick your shoes off haphazardly. Place them neatly together, pointing towards the door, ready for your departure. Often your host will offer you indoor slippers. Use them. It's all part of the smooth transition from outside to inside, a very clear demarcation. And what if you forget? Or worse, you just barge in with your shoes on? Awkward. Seriously awkward. Your host will likely be too polite to say much, especially to a foreigner, but there will be an unspoken cringe. It's a fundamental sign of disrespect, even if unintentional. It's like walking into someone's house and immediately putting your feet up on their antique coffee table while wearing muddy hiking boots. It's just not done. So, tattoo this one onto your brain: shoes off at the door, every single time. It's a small act that shows a massive amount of respect and understanding. It's the password to being a good guest. Alright, let's dive into one of the most uniquely Japanese experiences you can have: the public bath. Whether it's an onsen, hot spring, or a Sento, neighborhood bathhouse, this is a huge part of the culture. It's relaxing, it's communal, it's potentially confusing if you don't know the rules. And trust me, there are rules. Lots of them. This isn't just about getting clean, it's a ritual, a tradition, and there's a very specific way to do it. You don't just strip down and cannonball into the water, no. That's how you become tourist, the one everyone's subtly side-eyeing. So listen up, because getting this right means you get to enjoy one of Japan's best offerings without any awkwardness. First things first, the pre-wash. This is non-negotiable. Before you even think about dipping a toe into that beautiful, steaming, communal bathwater, You need to wash yourself thoroughly, and I mean, in the bathing area, separate from the main tubs, you'll find rows of little washing stations, usually with a low stool, a bucket or basin, a shower head and soap, shampoo and conditioner. You sit down on that stool and you scrub everything, head to toe, lather up, rinse off completely. The idea is that you enter the communal bath already clean, so the bathwater stays pure for everyone. It's a shared resource, and this pre-wash is your ticket to entry. Punctuality in Japan is foundational. It's an unspoken contract, a pillar of respect. Being on time shows you value others' time. It's about respect and efficiency. Lateness disrupts this finely tuned system. Be 5 to 10 minutes early. It matters. Japan is ridiculously photogenic. You're gonna want to take pictures of everything, but hold up. Just because your phone has a killer camera doesn't mean you can point and shoot wherever you want, especially in sacred spaces like temples and shrines. Look for signs. A camera icon with a big red X means no photos, period. Respect the space and the people. Your epic selfie isn't worth damaging a national treasure. If in doubt, put the camera down and soak it in with your own eyes. So, there you have it. Key tips to make your trip to Japan epic. Respect local customs, don't tip, and master public transport etiquette. Take off your shoes indoors and be punctual. These tips help you connect deeply with Japan. Like, comment, and subscribe for more travel wisdom from Travel Intel. Have an incredible, respectful adventure in Japan. Ganbot!